The Eastern Front of World War II was the largest and most brutal theater of the war. Stretching from the Baltic to the Black Sea, this conflict between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union would see unparalleled destruction, staggering casualties, and an ideological struggle to the death. Over 30 million lives were lost, and entire cities were reduced to rubble. But what made this front so uniquely brutal? And why did it escalate into such a colossal struggle? Today, we delve deep into the history of the Eastern Front, examining its brutality and scale from a deep-level perspective. The Eastern Front spanned over 1,800 miles at its peak, an unimaginable scale compared to the Western Front. From 1941 to 1945, over 3.5 million Axis soldiers invaded the Soviet Union under Operation Barbarossa. By the war's end, tens of millions of soldiers had participated in battles across forests, plains, and frozen wastelands. The sheer scale of operations required an unparalleled logistical effort. The Wehrmacht's supply lines stretched deep into Soviet territory, facing increasing difficulties as they advanced. On the Soviet side, vast mobilization efforts saw entire populations relocated to produce weapons, while rail networks ferried reinforcements thousands of miles to the front. The Eastern Front was synonymous with brutality. Unlike the Western Front, where conventional warfare and prisoner treatment were more regulated, here the war was ideological and genocidal. Nazi Germany saw the Soviet Union not only as a military adversary, but as an existential enemy. Hitler's orders made it clear this was a war of annihilation. The Commissar Order mandated the execution of Soviet political officers, while Operation Barbarossa saw Einsatzgruppen systematically massacring Jewish populations. Civilians were often viewed as expendable, and scorched earth tactics left entire regions uninhabitable. On the Soviet side, Stalin's infamous Order Number 227, not one step back, meant that retreat was punishable by execution. Penal battalions, often composed of political prisoners and former deserters, were sent into the most dangerous battles as cannon fodder. Partisan warfare also saw civilians caught in the crossfire, with brutal reprisals against villages suspected of aiding resistance fighters. 3 battles define the brutality and scale of the Eastern Front. The Siege of Leningrad 1941 to 1944, a 900-day siege where over 1 million civilians perished from starvation and bombardment. The city's residents resorted to eating wallpaper paste, sawdust bread, and in extreme cases, cannibalism to survive. The Battle of Stalingrad 1942 to 1943, a hellish urban battle where German and Soviet forces fought street by street, house by house. Over 2 million casualties turned this into the bloodiest battle in human history. Stalingrad's fall marked the turning point of the war in favor of the Soviet Union. The Battle of Kursk 1943, the largest tank battle in history. The Soviets anticipated the German offensive, fortifying the region with an extensive defensive network. After weeks of intense combat, the Wehrmacht was decisively defeated, marking the last major German offensive in the east. The later years of the war saw a shift in momentum. The Red Army, having learned from past mistakes, adapted its strategy with improved coordination and logistics. Soviet industry relocated east of the Urals, outproduced Germany's war machine. Meanwhile, the Lend-Lease program provided crucial supplies, including trucks, food, and raw materials. By 1944, Operation Bagration shattered German Army Group Center, pushing the Wehrmacht into full retreat. By early 1945, Soviet forces stood at the gates of Berlin. The final push saw brutal urban combat, with Soviet soldiers seeking retribution for years of suffering. The Battle of Berlin culminated in Hitler's suicide and Germany's unconditional surrender on May 8, 1945. The Eastern Front was a war of annihilation defined by unimaginable human suffering, mass atrocities, and the sheer scale of destruction. It shaped the post-war world, solidifying the Soviet Union as a superpower and drawing the Iron Curtain across Europe. Even today, its legacy endures in historical memory, influencing geopolitics and international relations. If you found this deep dive into history insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let us know in the comments which historical event you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, keep exploring history